Okay, I'm back, and I've got little one. Um, so we're gonna just start with the first few months in the fleet. We got a lot to get through, right? So when I got to my duty station, these people were not sure where exactly I needed to go, but we eventually got it sorted out, right? I got to my unit. Had to do the check-in process. Check-in process took quite a while. It's just you getting like all your gear, getting assigned a barracks room, checking in to medical, to dental, to company, to all this stuff, right? Usually takes, depending on if everybody's there, and so it usually takes about 2 days, sometimes 3 if it's really that bad, or depending on when you arrive, to get everybody, checked off this little list you got. So we did all that, got assigned to my room, had a roommate. Not the best roommate. Honestly, none of my roommates, except that one in the schoolhouse, and she wasn't with me for very long. I just had horrible roommates. Okay, first few months, that's all we're getting into, right? So the first few months, I worked at the ASP. I was an ammo tech. So Rocco. I'm sorry, I really just don't want you guys to have to listen to them licking themselves during the video. So I was an ammunition technician, and I worked at the ASP, known as the CMA, down there in 29 Palms. Basically like a warehouse, but a whole bunch of smaller warehouses. But the duties are basically the same. You store ammo, inventory ammo, you issue out ammo, you receive ammo. It's basically similar to the warehouse. Gotta clean them, keep them up to date. There's other sections at the CMA. So there was your regular ammo, then there was your airside ammo. At the time that I was there, we also had PICP, we had RISI, and we had records. By the time I left, PICP was down to one person, but really it should have just been non-existent. There was not a RISI, but there was a return, like receiving sort of section. All the sections themselves got dismantled and went to QA teams instead. There was a maintenance. Records was still the same. But the first few months I was in the wire working in the warehouse with the ammo. Now originally it was section 1, 2, and 3. And there was different ammunition in different sections. Different magazines had different ammunition because you cannot store every ammo with all the other ammos. There's certain ones that can't go together, certain ones that can, like all this stuff you gotta know, okay? And I enjoyed being up in the wire because it wasn't a desk job, right? I was, we were counting ammo, we were loading up trucks, we were strapping the stuff up, we were receiving it, counting it. We were just doing a lot of stuff. When we got trucks coming in, we had to offload the trucks, like just much better, even though you're out in the elements. So if it's raining, if it's raining with like lightning, then we can't work. We get called down. But in the summer, you are outside in that heat. I see you. But you're outside in the heat dealing with all of that. And that was rough, but I would take that over records any day. Now, I'm very good when it comes to clerical things, but I don't enjoy it. Well, it depends. It really depends. There were certain aspects of records I enjoyed. There were some aspects that I didn't enjoy, but the biggest reason why I didn't like records was the people. It's always the people, okay? Like I said, 29 Palms would probably be a much better place provided we had better people. But everybody hates their lives there and they take it out on everybody else, okay? So I worked in the wire for just a few short months before I went and had surgery on my left foot, okay? That put me out for a very long time. They wouldn't let me in the wire, which I was upset about because we had another kid who had a boot on because he like broke his freaking ankle or something. Guess who was still allowed to work in the wire? Yeah, I was not happy, okay? But I got moved down to records. We're going to talk about the surgery a little bit because that is why I had to get out of the Marine Corps. I was not able to serve my full 4 years. Close, but I wasn't able to serve the 4, not able to re-enlist, not able to join any other branch. So I got the surgery done December 2015. So now I enlisted. I went to boot camp March of 2015. So it was not very long. I got to my unit in like September or October that I had gotten to my unit. And so I went ahead with the surgery. Now, I didn't really know much about it. I just was like, it's hurting so bad. Sorry. And the doctors were like, well, that's your only option. Which we all know that was a lie. But to them, that was my only option. So I opted to get the surgery. I was on crutches for like a month. I got 3 weeks of leave though. I got to leave. Well, the first time, did I leave the first time? One of the times I stayed at the barracks, and one of the times I had left. Went back home to have some help. But yeah, had the surgery. Got 3 weeks off, and then I was six months of limited duty. Limited duty was like basically I couldn't do anything. No running, no marching, no standing long periods of time. So normal formation was fine, accountability in the morning, but if it was like a formation for like somebody's retirement ceremony and you're standing there for an hour, yeah, couldn't do it. It was really rough because I basically was able to be off limited duty and back to normal around June-July time frame. But I got surgery on my right foot August of 2016. So really didn't have really any time to physically get back to where I needed to be, because I was good for like a month-ish, and then it was time to have the other surgery. But even after the limited duty, they still put me on light duty. I did get physical therapy for my left foot and not the right one. I got limited duty and 3 weeks of convalescent leave again for my right foot. But yeah, no physical therapy for the right one. They just figured, well, you went through this before. You know what to do. Thanks. Because I found out after when I saw a foot doctor here in Texas. So 5 years after surgery, I saw a foot doctor here, and he looked at the x-rays and stuff, and he said, well, I don't say this to very many people. He said, but that surgery was really good. The care that I received after was horrible. had I had been given proper care, maybe I wouldn't have had to leave the Marine Corps the way that I did. Maybe I'd be able to run today. Maybe I'd be able to walk more than 20 minutes before my feet start hurting. Maybe, I don't know, but that's not the case. Currently, it's been 7 years. It's 2022. It's been 7 years since my surgeries, and I still have extreme pain. I still have a very limited range of motion. Normal people tiptoe that thing up. Nope, can't do it. That limited range of motion caused me to walk on the outside of my feet, which caused problems with the ankle, caused problems with the knee, caused problems with the hips, caused problems with the back. All sorts of problems. So I ended up getting medically separated from the military. I just wanted to touch on the foot thing really quick before we get into everything else. I had kept going back to the doctor because it wasn't helping. It was to the point of like crying at PT of I can't push through this. It's so bad. I needed to pass the range. I needed to pass a PFT and a CFT. No, just a PFT because it's PFT season. And I couldn't pass the PFT. They got rid of the run portion for me. They said, hey, you can just not do the run for a little bit, get you to pass your PFT, but then they needed me to pass the run. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't. Like, they kept sending me every Friday to go run that PFT, and I was like, you really think it's going to change from last Friday to this Friday? It did change a little bit, but not enough to pass. And it got to the point where the doctor, the first Navy doctor that I saw, said, well, I can medically separate you or admin separate you. How was I even given a choice? Medical separation should have been number one. Why would you admin set me? Why would you even ask me if I wanted to be admin set? For those of you who don't know, admin separations, you lose a lot of benefits. You don't get the same benefits as if you had gotten medically separated. So I was like, I will take the medical separation. Are you freaking crazy? The admin sep, what's wrong with you? So I chose the medical separation. Then I saw another doctor. Now, I don't know where this guy came from. I had never seen him before. He was not the normal doctor that I saw. But thank the Lord for that man. What? Because he said, well, you shouldn't have got that surgery. I wish I would have met this man sooner. He said every single person that requested to have that surgery done, that he sent off to get the surgery done, basically came back with separation papers, because it's never, it rarely ever results in something good. Okay. So here we are. And the other reason why I am so thankful for him is because he took the time to sit there and help me like create basically my package and stuff for the medical separation. For those of you who don't know all that the medical separation encompasses, it's everything. It's not just the issue that you're getting separated for. It's not just the surgeries that you've had. If you have pain in your knee and you've gone to medical 9 times, guess what? That's going in your medical separation package. But that's a good thing, because when you do the medical separation and you opt for them to also take you through the VA stuff while you're being separated from the Marine Corps, They package it all up for you and give it to the VA. You do your compensation and pension exam, and then they give you your rating from that. So that was a long process to go through the medical board and all that. Obviously got accepted. I got my VA rating and all of that as well. I got separation pay for my time, served and all of that. And then my rating with the VA is 100%. P&T, permanent and total. Which that basically just means, which we'll see in a few years here, it basically just means that my percentage is never going to lower because it's permanent and total. Whereas other people who don't have a permanent and total rating, they're supposed to get it evaluated every 5 years. And if something has improved, they can potentially lower their VA rating, which you don't want that. But going through the medical board, it was a long process. It was a lot of paperwork. It was multiple meetings. It was, it was a lot. It took months. But once it got approved, I had my data separation and checked out, did all my stuff, and I was out of there. So it's one of those that, was there a benefit to getting out the way that I did? Of course. But having to deal with the pain that I deal with on a daily basis sucks. It does. I do believe that if I would have gotten better care, I'd be better off now. I don't know if I would be as good as I was maybe before, but maybe better than I am now. And sadly, when I talk to people now, due to my limited range of motion, but how long it's been since surgery, the only thing that would solve that is a second surgery. But then to get better care after, and I'm not going through that again. That put me out physically for like a year and a half, 2 years. That put me out. Like, it was so bad. But I push through it where I can. I have some cream stuff that the doctor gave me, which I'll share it with you guys. So maybe those of you who are experiencing the same thing or have had surgeries or you have those flare-ups, this cream works wonders. Okay, I'm only supposed to use a little bit, but I'm telling you, I put it on one day and it was like, it's like I couldn't feel any, like not that it was numb, but I couldn't feel any pain. I didn't feel the pain. Now obviously my range of motions, nothing's gonna make that come back right now, except just doing some foot stuff to really work on, try to make my feet at least a little better. But for right now, that's the end of this video. If you have somebody who's in the military and that's facing a medical board or potentially might face a medical board, tell them to get their records in line now. Get it in line ahead of time. It'll make it easier for your medical board. Even if you opt not to do it the VA at the same time, it'll make it easier for you to file your VA stuff when you get out. Because if that stuff is not documented, it's like it never happened. So don't be one of those people who's like, I'm macho mighty man, I don't get hurt, but really you're dying, but you don't go to medical because you don't want people to think you're weak or whatever. But then you're the one that gets out of the military busted, broken, and has a 10% rating because you didn't go to medical. Because you're too prideful to go to medical. You don't have to be put on light duty. You don't have to be taken off your orders or your duties and all of that. Just let them know that you're having that kind of pain and let them know these things multiple times when it's occurring, because then it shows a pattern of this stuff throughout your time in the military. So that way, when you get out and you go to the VA, they say, wow, this does look like something service related, because it started 6 months after you were in, and it was a problem for you for a year and a half. Or it's still a problem for you 4 years later. Like, don't screw yourself over because you don't want people to think you're weak for going to medical. Because so many people did that to me. So many people made fun of me for being light duty, but who's laughing now with 100% and you're at 10 or 20 or whatever it is because you didn't want to go to medical? Guess who's laughing now? I'm laughing at y'all, okay? But please tell your friends, or if you're in and you're one of those people, tell medical, tell them, okay? Let them know that these things are bothering you. Do your research on that CMP exam, okay, when it comes to the VA stuff. Don't give up if the VA defers your stuff. Don't give up if the VA says, hey, this isn't service related. Don't give up like my husband did. Fight for that rating, okay? But for now, that's the end of this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.